Hi, how is everyone? I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Well, here we are. It's March 20th. It's Monday in the Matrix work week. It's 2023. It's spring equinox. Woohoo! That's amazing. There's a lot of good things going on out there. I know I'm just sticking this little video into your day because I don't think I'll make it to a later time. I was kind of feeling like I was coming down with something at my job in the Matrix today. And so I said, you know what? I just need to do it right away and then I won't get in my bed and fall asleep. How's everyone doing? How was your weekend? How have you been since I last saw you? Blessings to everyone. Let's have gratitude for this moment, this day. Have you spent any time in nature in the last few days? Because we are all together. We're together. We're a community and we are raising our vibration. I'm going to give you some info about that. Tonight we are going to cover topics like dead end for the banks, spring equinox 2023, and the Trinity. Also, I'm going to ask you about your activation symptoms. Anyone getting those activation symptoms? What does that mean? Well, if you've awakened and you realize everything out in the physical reality just doesn't really make much sense, and you've kind of said, maybe there's some lies, maybe there are some issues that aren't addressed. And those that you trusted as our leaders to protect us, to protect humanity, are kind of stumbling and falling down some stairs and making a lot of big mistakes for us. So what do we have to do? We have to protect ourselves. We don't want to think about these false idols or this false light. We have to know that we have power within us. So we don't look for someone to save us. You must save yourself. And really, that's about it. You have what's called free will. You're a sovereign being of light. You don't need anyone to make decisions for you. You have discernment within you. You are a human lie detector test. And you know the difference between truth and lies. I know you do. And I believe that we are coming through this. We are kind of in the middle of something right now. We are in the middle of a lot of turmoil and chaos, and it's finally happening. We are having the Great Awakening. And we will have many signs and symptoms of that going forward. You will encounter moments where you're not quite sure what's going on. You'll feel as though you've lost your identity, and you might not get that much support from family and friends because they believe in other other decision making than you. I myself come from a place that here I am on the East Coast. Oops, my phone's actually still on. I thought I turned it off. I'm on the East Coast, so there's a lot of those out there who aren't awakened. Now, I believe we are at a point, and we are going to go over the threshold of 10% awakened. Now, 10% of 8 billion, if there are in fact 8 billion on this beautiful new Earth, Gaia, this globe, then what is that? Is it 800,000? I'm not quite sure, but 10%, that's a good number. I'm good with that. And then they say 25 to 30% are organic, natural, and they didn't put medicine in them. And you know what? Anyone who just awakens, it doesn't matter when, and they just come to their senses, we are going to hold the door open for them. We are the first timeline arrivals. Here we are. We're in the 5 dimension. That is where we are going. And this spring equinox is going to change us because more light is coming on to the earth, and we are actually receiving more light. And they say it's 12 hours of darkness and 12 hours of light. As of 5:46 p.m. here, there's a blast of light coming through. We also know that there's been moments in the last 5 days, the Schulman resonance, there was some kind of reaction going on, and that is a mechanism, it's a machine, and it keeps track of the blasts from the sun, the solar flares, eruptions that come from the sun, and they have been coming from the sun. because that's actually nature. That is, maybe it's divine, a divine event. They say the solar flash, is that a divine event? I believe so, because up until now, there's been those on this earth and they've kept us enslaved. Now, maybe you didn't go to an actual prison that had bars on it, but your mind was enslaved. You had to live a certain life. You didn't wake up every day and just kind of could do whatever you wanted. Why? Because we had to pay bills. We had to have no fun with these jobs in the matrix, and we had to be rushing after crisis, because we've been programmed. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught to do that, to live that way. And that's great. Capitalism is supposedly great. It's a great way to live. However, we are discovering, if you're awakened, you're ascending. You said, something's not right here. This is fishy. And there are these individuals in a position of leadership over us, and they've been telling us how to live our lives. We don't have free will. We aren't sovereign beings. And so the new Earth Gaia, the 5 dimension, the 5D timeline, which is where we are right now. If you're here listening to me, we're in the 5-dimension timeline. Now, we definitely have to step into the matrix, the simulation, the illusion, just like that film, The Matrix. That's what's going on. We're kind of trapped there. And it's exhausting to go down there to that thinking, or to live in that thinking, 8 hours out of the day, because that thinking is that there's no other reality. This is how you have to live. It's like we're in a cage and we're like a little mouse going through this maze, and it's horrible and it's stressful, and it's all about, there's a villain. And if you don't take care of these responsibilities, then you won't make it. You won't survive. But in the 5-dimensional timeline, there's none of that. It's heaven on earth. It's the golden age. And it's going to go on for the next 1,000 years. So those that are in the matrix are going to have an opportunity to wake up. They've had an opportunity to wake up. I don't know if they're going to. I'm going to invite them in and say, let's have this consciousness that is more developed. And you're coming from a higher vibration and frequency, which means you're going to love. That's all it is. It's just living in love. Now, maybe you're someone who's been injured. Maybe you know those out there in the matrix, in the illusion, in the simulation, in the 3-dimensional timeline, the linear world. And they've been so injured that they're just angry all day long. And they hate on people. And maybe you can offer them, or you can send them some light. We've been doing that on our own here. We've been light workers, and you're a being of light. You're star seed. Do you believe maybe you came from another star family, another star up in the sky? And maybe you're a star seed. Maybe you consider yourself to be, I'll show you, maybe this is an Andromedan. Maybe you believe you're an Andromedan. I'm not quite sure. Hey, Craig. Hello, great to see you. I've been a little nutty recently, but today I've been buzzing a bit, feeling something interesting. Well, good for you. Well, here we are. And so some ascension symptoms I'm going to get into. And, I just kind of wanted to share with you my thoughts lately. I have so much hope and I have so much belief, and we know that it's kind of breaking in half what's going on. If I could break this pen in half, I'd say that's what's going on right now. Everything is breaking. The banking system is breaking. It looks like the stock market is breaking. Information that we've known about is breaking. It's all kind of sliding off into somewhere else. It's not what's going on here anymore. We are discovering that there's a lot of crooks out there. There's a lot of deceit and criminal behavior, lawlessness. And it's coming from some of the leaders. And this banking crisis that we're in the middle of, what's going to happen? It's kind of exciting. Michael Jackson, a smile and a kind word can, yes, it can. That's exactly it. You can send someone light. You can be hopeful. We don't want to be someone that's jealous of someone else. And if you have that jealousy, if you're trying to hurt someone, you need to look inward. And I've spoken about looking inward, which means that you close your eyes and you tune inward and you ask yourself how you're feeling. Because guess what? No one out here in the physical reality knows that but you. You're going to have to do your own inner work. You're going to have to help yourself get out of a jam. No one else out there is going to do that. Unless, of course, you're going to give them some money. And that's how they're going to do it. Most people aren't like us, where they're like lending you a hand if you need it, just because we are benevolent, just because we love humanity. Most out there, I just said 10% are awakened. So that means 90% are probably not going to lend you a hand if you need it. However, it doesn't matter. We still want to offer people forgiveness and love, because it's kind of like you pass the buck. And they say pay it forward. So these dead end banks, have you been hearing about the dead end banks? Well, you can't not hear about it unless you're so busy working, and you haven't popped on anything that's related to what's going on out there in the physical reality. Now, I don't pop on the mainstream media or the news. I just find all the information out on, social media like Twitter or YouTube or Instagram. And I follow those that are kind of like me, a truth seeker, not a conspiracy theorist, a rebel. So these dead end banks. Well, I spoke about, I guess it was last week, I mentioned to you about the Silicon Valley Bank and how that went boop in the toilet. It's not doing so well. In fact, it's, I think, gone. I believe it was bailed out. It was the 16th largest bank. And that was in 2019. It was worth, its assets were worth 2009 billion. And then there was the Signature Bank, and that went down too as well. And that had assets of 173 billion. And it had investments, deposits invested in 118 billion. So it's the end of our monetary banking system. Do you have fear about that? What have I said about fear? What does fear do to you? Fear stops your heart. It gives you ailments. Maybe you hold your breath. Maybe you white knuckle it. We don't want fear. I'm just relaying information that's going on out in the physical world and on the globe. We can say in America. I mean, some of this might be other countries. We're going to get into that. So it's basically right now we're discovering that it's the end of the monetary. I don't do socials. Can I get an alert on your videos, please? Sure. So the end of the monetary banking system, which means what do you think is going to happen? Well, I suspect, and I've been saying, that we're not going to have banks anymore. And we're going to go into another financial system. And I've mentioned the quantum financial system, because we're also realizing that right now going on out there is they're actually speaking about UFOs and extraterrestrials on mainstream media, because it can't be held down anymore. Now, if you remember, the banking system kind of crashed in 2008. Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, they went under and there was no helping them. So you say, okay, maybe it'll be like that. Maybe the Federal Reserve will bail out these banks. But what's going on every second it can is the other banks seem to be going down. Like Friday, before I left my job in the Matrix, I checked out. JP Morgan Chase, it dropped. Citigroup, it dropped. Bank of America, it dropped. But now today it was up a little. Now the other banks that are to be noticed are First Republic Bank. That's having a problem, and there's a domino effect. And then Credit Suisse, which UBS, that tanked, Credit Suisse. And so UBS bought it for $2 billion. Where are they getting all this money? It's not in the banks. If we all ran there and had that bank run, which means that we all go to the bank and we say, I need my money. If everyone did that, what would happen? There's not enough money, because there isn't that much money that exists. They just are giving loans, and then they're taking it in, and they're, getting mortgages and debt. There's not enough money to cover everyone if they went and said, I need my money. And they're saying there's a $250,000 insurance, but some people have more than $250,000. So today came through Deutsche Bank. That's having issues because of Jeffrey Epstein. There's lawsuits because they were involved with the Jeffrey Epstein. So it's kind of turning into this whole other thing. Like, we go down the rabbit hole, don't we? Well, let's go down the rabbit hole. What's going to happen with the banking system? I'm kind of not surprised. I know that this is what's going to happen because we've been hearing about those evil doers. Who are they? They are the New World Order. Klaus Schwab, I haven't heard about him lately. I'm going to read you in a minute in music. Klaus Schwab has been talking about you will have nothing and be happy and eat bugs and drive an electric car. Meanwhile, electric cars, first of all, you can't drive very far. So they're speaking of these 15-minute cities. You can go 15 minutes. But then what are they doing with all those batteries? They're like, oh, it's good for the environment. But it's not, because there's nothing to do with these batteries, and they don't last forever. So that's not the solution. We need to kind of find out all about those patents that the government's been holding on to about free energy, the Tesla patents, the patents that you can drive a car on water. That's what we need to find out, not this electric car and you will be happy with nothing. Well, that guy has been speaking about digital currency. He's been speaking about brain chips and hand chips. None of that either, because we are organic beings of light. We don't want brain chips. We don't want hand chips. We don't want anyone owning us. We don't want all of these leaders, because guess what? We can figure things out on our own. Do you really need someone to babysit you? We need to put our big girl pants and our big boy pants on, and we need to lift ourselves up, all our personal power, and say, I'm not going to listen to that smorgasbord, that hoopla, because giving it energy, you're giving it power. Our thoughts are very powerful. We say that every single day. I always start every video, and I speak about what everyone knows, the 3 subjects, which I didn't do today because you are a big girl, a big boy, and you don't need me to say it every single video, which is dreams, your intention, and your thoughts are very powerful. And we're not going to do it every time because I feel like it's over now. We're focusing on love and forgiveness. What does music say? Always likely have money on earth, as it is actually a spirit and something we learn important. Well, we'll have something, an exchange of energy, right? So money is really energy. Yes, we will have an exchange, music. I believe we will. I'm not saying there isn't going to be some kind of exchange. Now, maybe it's going to be gold and silver or precious metals. Maybe it's going to be something else. Maybe the money that we have, the currency that we have right now, will be transferred into another system. And we will actually, those that are taking care of humanity will be given more of this currency or this value because they are trying to achieve something for humanity. It's not going to be about stuff anymore. It's not going to be about materialism. Material possessions are a made-up thing. It's like, okay, we're going to have a piece of clothing. We're going to have a pen. But do we have to put all our value on that? Because the value is within us. That's the value, our DNA. We're going to get into DNA activation. So central banks. I was reading about central banks as well. Ultimately, I think our consciousness, yes, exactly, music, our consciousness, because that's where the power lies. And we're all going to connect on another level, which is above, or I guess it's another way. Like I hear my ears ringing at night, and I tune in to this sound that I'm hearing, which I believe is another consciousness. And I tune into that, and then I'm either greeted, or I'm met, or I'm hearing, or I'm given information. And it's part of the activation. Your body will undergo activations. And it's not in one day. It's like a series of information because you can't handle it all at once. That's why the sooner you awaken, the better off you are. So central banks. A central bank is a national bank that provides financial and banking services for countries and government, commercial banking system, and the government monetary policies. So they've been speaking about bailing out. So they've been giving more money and trying to protect the banking system because they want us to be under this. They want to have power over us. They want to keep us running in a direction that we have to maintain because they want us to be under control and have power. And they want to continue for us to be enslaved. But guess what? Enslavement's over. It's a mindset. So our collective consciousness is expanding. Like I said, 10% of us are awakening, which means we are all going to be on the same page pretty soon. So it's just like a domino effect. And the more out there you realize are not really encouraged, they don't want to pay taxes. Do we have an option? Yes, we can say no. If everyone stood up and said, I'm not going to pay taxes anymore, that's ridiculous. That's malarkey. Who made that up? Who was it? Was it one of the Rockefellers in 1913? Came up with the Federal Reserve and this whole banking system to try to control us? Yes. So it's a control of a money supply. Now, moving subjects, before I get into the spring equinox, which is way more exciting than this banking stuff, but the banking stuff, what's going to happen? Well, I believe it's going to continue. The domino effect is going to continue, and eventually they're all going to crash, which means that what's going to crash as well? The stock market's going to crash, and then everyone's going to kind of freak out. They're going to freak out because they're not going to understand that there's other options. Like, hello, all we have to do is not have the banking system anymore, which means what? There's nothing, we kind of changed what the value is and how we do things. And it's time now. It's time in this moment. So I'm having gratitude for this moment. On the 20th of March, 2023, the spring equinox. Now, I also, there's something new that's kind of rumbling around. It came up over the weekend. Maybe it was late Friday. It was about Donald Trump. Is everyone reading about Donald Trump? And he says, or they say he says that he's going to be arrested tomorrow in New York City with charges. But guess what? He's not in New York City, is he? He's in Florida. So there's charges pending in Florida. Now, is this a distraction from the banking issue? Probably. Is this a distraction from a lot of the other things? Also, Fauci. Some info has come out about Fauci. Is he going to be chased down the street by a mob with pitchforks because he said everything was valuable, everything that he talked about for how many years, a year and a half. He just talk. He talk all over mainstream media, telling everyone what to do. And he's guilty. He's guilty. That guy, he's done some bad stuff. So is there going to be a mob chasing him down the street? Probably. And I've been saying that for months. Distractions are all part of the game. Exactly, music. But we're not distracted here. Why? Because we're way ahead of it. We're looking back and we're saying, come on, that's a bunch of attachments you're carrying around. And you're giving it life. You're cutting it off and leaving it on the side of the road. All of it is. The only thing that's important is you. And you know what? You can become hypnotized by all of this technology, this very primitive technology that we think, oh, our phones are so advanced. No, they're not. They're not advanced. That is just a tracking device, and it's a way of keeping track of you, and who knows what else they've done with it. Maybe it's a manipulation gadget. I'm not quite sure, but it's not for us. And what about this 5G? We're not even supposed to be within 30 feet of our router. Guess what? Where my router is? It's right here by my feet. The router's right here. So that's not good for us. And that's what they've been saying. They don't tell us that is harmful. There's many frequencies coming off of Cell towers, our router. I know I'm changing subjects, but guess what? It's important stuff. Pay attention. You have to ask questions. You can't just take everything at face value. You have to look around the curtain. Remember the man, Oz, behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz? And Dorothy pulled back the curtain and he was controlling everything. That's all that's been going on. There's actors, paid programming. There's a lot of false claims. You have to ask questions. There's those out there wearing masks. Have you noticed some of the masks on the leaders? They have masks and you can see it here. What's her name? The vice president, there was a shot of her and it looked like she was wearing a mask. Same with our president. There was holes cut out. Are they actors? That doesn't really look like Biden 20 years ago. Is that really him? I don't think so. You guys have to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. You are living. You have amnesia and you're waking up. So the spring equinox, I'm excited for today. It's got good energy. And yes, I told you I'm not feeling well. So what I do is I rally and then I'm going to go to sleep. The spring equinox, what's going on here with that? Well, maybe we're all going to look like this. We're all going to, here we are, and then we're going to reach a higher consciousness, and we're going to be sending all of our energy like we've been working on with our chakras, our crown chakra and beyond. We have 5 chakras that are outside of our body. We have our earth chakra, and then we have our gosh, what are they all called? I have all the names here. I'm not educated on this yet. We have our soul star chakra. We have our spirit chakra. We have our universal chakra, our galactic chakra, and our divine gateway chakra, which we did an exercise last week. And we were reaching out to other realms. It's about opening up and activating our chakra. So the spring equinox begins today. It's the first day of spring, March 20th. It's exciting. And the sun will be moving directly over the Earth's equator, allegedly, they say, because I've never been out to the solar system. Is this true? I'm hoping that it's accurate, but I'm just telling you what I've read and researched. The sun will be moving directly over the Earth's equator, the central line between North Pole and South Pole, bringing equal amounts of daylight. Hooray! And darkness all around the globe. That's why I said 12 hours of darkness, 12 hours of light. So this is hey, Craig, quite a lot of feeling in heart area. Yes, you know what? That's great because we are opening up our heart chakras. That's what we want. We want to bring more light and more love. And maybe you felt as though you had to kind of get through some issues, or maybe they came to the forefront of your life. Maybe you have to set boundaries. I spoke about that's one of my issues, setting boundaries. I have to be sure that I'm setting boundaries because I can be a little bit wishy-washy. I can say, all right, I'll give that person a pass, or all right, because I really don't want confrontation, although I will have it if I get pushed too far. But we all have our issues, is my point. That's my personal issue. And I share with you, it's abandonment as well. And it's also if somebody gets super angry at me, I shut down. I'm sure you have yours as well, because guess what? We've suffered here in this physical reality. So now that the spring equinox is here, there's possible change, transformation, and you can manifest new opportunities. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot that's possible for you. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into some ways to kind of utilize the spring equinox. Now, there's some numerology related to the equinox, which is the number 3, which means, we say 2, 3, it's the year 2023. So the number 3 represents vitality, excitement, and creative energy. So those are positive. That's something right now that we can encourage. Vitality, excitement. You want to breathe fresh air, inhale, And exhale, fresh air, get out in nature. Creative energy, are you thinking about some new plans for your life? We always speak about the 5 humongous goals, and what are they? Do you have 5 humongous goals? Because we want to start to check those off. Anything that comes into your system, any ideas that you have are meant for you. Now you are capable of advancing on that idea that comes into your mind or into your system. You are capable of advancing. Why? Because it's you. It's solely meant for you. So right there, you are capable of manifesting it. How much focus do you give it? How much energy do you give it? Now did I just all of a sudden say, oh, I'm going to host something on YouTube? No, I did other lives for years, for like 3 years I did them on Facebook. I did it on Twitch. And then I thought, I'm going to do a radio show. And guess what? That didn't come to fruition. It didn't work out. So I said, that's it. I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a YouTube show. And here I am. And now it just seems like a matter of fact for me. The difference is I have other things coming into play, and so I run out of time and energy. It's not, if I had a choice, this would be the only thing I did. But I have to have the job in the matrix. Now I'm doing a guided meditation group. I'm doing interviews, and I'm not complaining. I love all of it. It's just there's not enough of me to go around. So number 3 is vitality, excitement, and creative energy. Number 2, and today is March 20th, so there's a 2 right there. Increased intuition and sensitivity. Those are great. That's good to know, isn't it? So right there's 5 accents that you can have. 5 accents to your life right here. Vitality, excitement, creative energy, increased intuition, and sensitivity. You probably already have increased intuition. Why? Because if you're listening to me and you're here, if you watched it live or on the replay, you know that we focus on psychic phenomenon, which basically all it is just dropping down and completely tuning into your senses. Because our thoughts are based on what we've been programmed, what we see. Our thoughts are not our intuition. Our thoughts are what we can see with our eyeballs, right? What you see out there, like right now, I see this computer. I see a door. I see the couch with Elsa on it. Is that what I feel? No, I have to tune into myself. And that's a lot more information. If you get good at that, that's where we are going. That's where we're going. We're all going to be just tuning into our senses. And that's how we collectively are going to have consciousness and telepathy and psychic phenomenon. And we are going to expand all of our abilities. Maybe you're going to be someone that can kind of change, your body can morph into something else. There's what's called ionic powers. And we think, oh, it's just for those Marvel characters. I was watching one of those shows, one of those movies, and it had Hugh Jackman, and he gets all furry. I forget what it's called, and he's morphing into another type of being. We're all going to have those abilities. We're all going to be able to see spirits. We're all going to be able to see ascended masters, those who have passed. We're going to live a lot longer. That's where the world is going. Is that a wives' tale? Is that a myth? I don't think so. I don't believe so. Because I've been receiving this kind of stuff. Have you been receiving this when you close your eyes and you go to sleep at night? Now, if you want to be activated, we're going to get into that. Do you want to be activated? Are you interested in being activated? Well, you're first going to have to say, I accept it. You're first going to have to say, I trust it. And you're also going to have to believe. If you go, nah, that's ridiculous, and sabotage it, guess what? It's never going to happen for you. It's never going to happen for you. You have to tune into your heart. You have to accept others. You have to forgive others. And that sounds like kind of corny. Oh, she's so corny. Yeah, I am corny. And that's the only way you're going to activate your DNA, is going to a higher consciousness, because those Extraterrestrials, those who have reached the 5 dimension, are not believing in hate and anger and fear. Those are low here on frequency. They're up here in joy and love. What does Michael say? Not all ascended masters have passed. True. Okay, so I'm going to continue with spring equinox. I'm just going to mention what this light language is. Are you seeing when you close your eyes at night, are you feeling energy come into your system? Like you're like this? I've been receiving that since 2018, where I'd lay down. I thought, oh, I have some kind of illness, because my legs would feel as though they had some kind of vibration, because I was actually reaching a higher frequency, a higher vibration, because I was doing healing work. I became an ordained minister where you can marry people. You can do some kind of religious a religious ceremony. So I'm capable of marrying people. And before you can do that, it's a very holy thing. It's a very sacred ceremony to marry people. And so I started receiving light and information. But this light language I have seen typically when I'm going to sleep. I close my eyes and I start to feel as though I'm receiving light. And I'm hearing out of my left eye another sound, another environment, another frequency. And then I start to see blue. It's not colorful like this. It's usually blue lights. And I'm being activated. It's pretty fun. It's all pretty fun. Some of it seems weird. Some of it you get tired. And those out in the physical reality don't necessarily understand what I'm talking about. Maybe you do. And that's okay. I'm open. You know, everyone eventually will have this come before them. So angel number 23, which is, we're at 2023, which is the spring equinox. That's what we're referring to. Angel number, it means innovation, progress, and change. So there you go. We have eight aspects, characteristics that are beneficial to today. So that's wonderful. So we are embarking on positive changes now, the spring equinox. We have so much to look forward to. Full of conviction, Mary. I am, because I'm rallying right now, rallying. So we have positive changes. We have so much to look forward to. You should wake up tomorrow morning, or it doesn't even, you don't have to wait till tomorrow. Be in this moment and say, what are my 5 humongous goals? And you get a piece of paper and you start writing them down. Write them down. What are the 3 characteristics that make you a beautiful being of light? You're authentic. What are they? What are they? Come on, you get all that energy from your root chakra, the bottom of your spine, and pull it up and bring it forward, because no one out there is going to do it for you. You are the maker of your destiny. You are. Not me, not little baby Elsa over here, not your neighbor, not your mother, not your sister, not your friend, not your loved one. You are. No one else is going to do the work for you. So the inner work comes first, which means you must start with affirmations like, I love myself, I accept myself. Own that. Maybe you can say some affirmations like, here we go. As a child, I was great at. Fill in the blank. As a child, I was great at. Well, I'll do my personal experience because I can't hear what you're saying. As a child, I was great at watercolors. I started watercoloring as like 3 years old, 4 years old. I sat by a nightlight and I was doing watercolors when everyone went to sleep. I'd get a little cup of water, I'd pull out my set, and I'd do watercolors. I was great at watercolors when I was a child. Second affirmation, and felt happy whenever what makes you happy? What made you happy as a child? There's a lot of information right there in that. Because guess what? We weren't born here to have no fun. We weren't born on this new earth to be tormented and tortured and suffer and feel bad and criticized. We were brought here and born here to love ourselves and love others and be loved and cherished. That's it. Nothing else. I'm setting my boundaries at that. You can't come into my physical reality unless you cherish me. That's what your boundaries should be. So if you're someplace 12 inches from your body, an invisible line you're creating, unless you're cherished and loved, no one's allowed to come into your physical space. Mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. You make that. That's it. So can't come in unless you love me and you cherish me. And that's how you have to be about yourself. It starts there. And then you love others. As soon as you love yourself, then you love others. All right, so here's a chance to explore the realm of dreams right now in this moment. And that's kind of what we're doing, aren't we? I'm speaking about what are your 5 humongous goals? What is your dream? I have some dreams. I've shared some of my dreams with you. What are yours? Meaning, and I don't want to hear that you say, oh, that's impossible. I can't do it. If you thought of it, then you're capable of it. Any thought that came into your mind is yours, which means you can attain it. You can accomplish it. You are successful. You can do way more than you were ever told. We were basically pushed down, pushed, smashed. This is all you're capable of. And these are the rules. And we were confined. We weren't given like a lot of freedom, or were we? It was like, take this pill, stand in the corner. We weren't really allowed to express our feelings or emotions. We weren't given that freedom, but now you have it. If you're an adult, you're over the age of 5, you can do whatever you want. You can. You're capable of it. So here's a chance to explore your dreams. Do it now. Start today. I don't want to hear 20, 30, 40 years. Guess what? We don't know if we have 20, 30, 40 years. We have to start right now. The power of thought. You can accomplish so much. You can change your reality. You can change the outcome through your thoughts. It's like you coerce your thoughts into a much better outcome. Okay, so walk, meditate, breathe in fresh air, and cleanse your space. How are you going to cleanse your space? You're going to run out to the store when you get a chance, and you're going to buy some sage, a little bundle of sage. I've shown it to you. It's a little bundle of sage, and you're going to go around. You're going to go around all the crevices in your house, the doorways, the windows, and you're going to sage it. I'm going to grab some sage so you know what I'm talking about. I know most of you do already. It's spring cleaning time. We're getting away from clutter and we're cleaning. So you get a little bundle of sage like this, you burn the end and you sage. And guess what? Let's say you're at your job in the Matrix, or you're at an event, or let's say you went to a party this weekend. Or maybe it wasn't even someone you didn't know. Maybe it was someone you do know. And you came back and you went, oh, I have such negative thoughts. Something came over me. I feel like a dark cloud. You have confused energy that attached itself to you. Maybe it's super dark. Maybe it's just you feeling a little bit lost and confused. You go get some sage and you spin it around you because it will take away confused energy. 1,000,000%. Do that. Okay. Here's a quote. There is no place for negativity in this space. This is what you're going to say. Okay. You're going to sage your place. Sage yourself, and then you're going to say, there is no place for negativity in this space. Only love and light are welcome in my home. And that's what you say. I'm going to post it in the description. There is no place for negativity in this space. Only love and light are welcome in my home. That's a wonderful thing to say, isn't it? All right, so here we go. Then you can spring clean. Which I'm going to do. I'm going to clean out some of my, I have one closet, not some of my, I have one closet that I need to clean. So spring cleaning, this is spring equinox 2023. You're going to declutter, organize your home. Now 3/20/23, which is today, Monday in the Matrix work week, intense shift. There's light coming on to the earth, solar energies, solar winds today, releasing old dense energies of physical activation. So you might feel some part of today. You might feel a headache. Maybe that's why I didn't feel well. You might feel sense as though exhausted, anxiety, not super good things. I mean, it might be little aches and pains because you're releasing an inflammation. You're releasing old traumas today because of the light that's coming upon the earth. It's a good thing though. You might have head full of energies. You might have itchiness on the top of your scalp, like the top of your crown chakra. Go figure. You might have more ear sensitivity today, earaches, and you might have vision changes. You might feel as though you're not grounded. Okay, before we get on to Trinity and then psychic phenomenon, I'm going to tell you, how do we ground ourselves? How do you ground yourself? Well, you want to remind yourself exactly where you are, because sometimes we get emotional and we get in our thoughts and then we're not grounded. You operate on a much more level of clarity if you're grounded. You can stand back and observe. Now, definitely there's moments where we get upset. Maybe something's happened. We might feel overwhelmed, but we have to then ground ourselves. So we're going to imagine our feet firmly planted in the earth's surface. So we're going to wiggle our toes, imagine them. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I don't say that enough. We're going to imagine our feet firmly planted on the earth's surface, aren't we? We're going to have gratitude for this moment. Look around. There's things right in front of me. Remind yourself, I have a cup of tea here. It's not warm anymore. And that's how you're going to ground yourself, because you want to ground yourself. There's a flood of energies coming onto the earth, coming into our physical reality. It's good, but then we have to ground ourselves. You might want to stand by a strong, healthy tree, spend time in nature. That will ground you. Okay. Before I get on to Trinity, which is kind of related, let me remind you of angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth to protect humanity. They are here as messengers. They're guides. They're protectors. I'm going to speak about Archangel Michael this week. That's going to be one of my topics. Maybe tomorrow. And they are celestial beings. They're benevolent. They're immortal. They're non-gender. And they come from the heavens. They ascend and descend on a staircase. And they're here for us. They're here to protect us. And you might ask for divine intervention. You might pray, and an angel might come and visit you in your dreams, or you might sense an angel's presence around you. You know, you're alone, but you sense, I'm not alone. It's just pure goodness you feel. Just feel pure goodness. And that's the energy and frequency of an angel. It's very powerful, angelic energy. Okay, so Trinity. What is Trinity? Well, Trinity is, they say, the cross. Okay, that's one of the Trinity. And so it's one God existing in three persons. And I'm bringing this up because I noticed that Trinity, the word Trinity, came up a lot on Twitter lately. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to mention it. And then I'm going to get on to raising your vibration and how to do that. Because that's key right now, to activate your third eye, to activate your heart chakra, to activate your light codes and your blueprint, your DNA blueprint. But Trinity is one God who eternally exists as three persons. They say the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And God is of one essence in three persons. So they say the Trinity is also the spirit, the soul, the body. There's a few different interpretations of the Trinity. And there's different drawings that I've seen of the Trinity as well. So Trinity knots, which are their knots of interlaced, unbroken lines symbolize spiritual growth, eternal life, and undying love. It's very positive. That's amazing. Spiritual growth. We want to grow spiritually, which means what? When someone says spiritual, what does that mean? Well, it's related to feelings and emotions. It's relating to kindness. It's relating to compassion. That's really spiritual growth. You're growing and you know that there's more than you that's here. When you're not really growing spiritually, you're stagnant. You might come from a place that you say, oh, everything's about me, service to me. And your thoughts, 95% of your thoughts are me, 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 me. You know, those out there, we spoke about narcissists last Monday or Tuesday, I mentioned narcissists and empaths. So if you are someone who is not spiritually growing, you're probably saying, oh, all the stuff that I have is so important. Do you see what I do, what job I have, where I live? You're not really spiritually growing if that's what you're consumed with. You're consumed with material possessions. If you're spiritually growing, you're more likely to be someone that has 50% of your thoughts and actions are related to helping others, service to others. Can I help you? If someone's struggling, you say, here, let me help you. You don't laugh. You don't criticize. You don't walk away. You say, can I help you? Like, for example, I was at the airport a few weeks ago, and there was this little girl who was waiting outside the bathroom for her father. And she probably was only about 6 years old. And all of a sudden, her nose started bleeding. And the person I was with ran to go get her a tissue because she was struggling. So that is compassion. You're helping someone. You don't have to do it, but you just do because you have a heart for them. You love them. So spiritual growth, eternal life, and undying love is the Trinity. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Write in the chat. Tell me where you're coming from. I know already. In fact, I'm going to mention this. Who's here already? Well, let's see. Craig is coming. I'm in New York. We know I'm in New York. Craig is coming from Cornwall, UK. Music is from Canada, BC. Who else is here? Music. Michael Jackson is from... Michael Jackson, where are you from? Where are you from? I think you told me and I can't find it right now. Write it in the chat. Where are you coming from, Michael Jackson? Did you already tell me where you're coming from? Are you from, I think you're from the US somewhere. Share with us. Share with us where you're coming from, because you know what? We are bringing light onto the earth in these locations, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, so Father is the source, the origin, the essence, the root, the creator of all. So you can say God, the Father, source, God source, Christ consciousness. That's what we're all getting at. South Carolina. Thanks. I'm going to write that down. South Carolina, Michael Jackson. Because you know what? We are all friends. I'm sure at some point we're all going to meet. I know we will collectively be speaking. We'll be speaking through our consciousness, won't we? That's what's going to happen. That's where our future lies. And so the Son is that which proceeds and is begotten of the Father like him. And essentially all the Father is. The Holy Spirit is known as God's word, attunement, and the working, the moving, the breathing, the brooding of spirit made known to men through revelation, inspiration, and guidance. The Holy Spirit is the comforter who will bring all things to their remembrance. Okay, so that's what the Trinity is. I've obviously seen the Trinity. There's different evaluations of what the Trinity is, and that's what I researched and found. So loving and cherishing yourself and others. And that's really all we have to do. That's it. Tune into your heart chakra. We did a video about heart chakra. Super important. So let's raise our vibration. And we're going to then get onto psychic phenomenon. And we're activating. We're having activation symptoms. Have you been activated? Does your identity not fit you anymore? I sense that mine has. I've outgrown my old identity, which was a little bit more passive, a little less boundaries, a little less, I guess, determined. Now I'm really determined, but also it's about self-confidence. Do you have self-confidence? The more you love yourself, the more self-confidence you will have. The more you believe in yourself. And if you have someone around you that is sabotaging you, which they tell you, you say, oh, you make the mistake of telling them about one of your 5 humongous goals. And then they laugh at you or they say, you can't do that. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. At least don't share your personal plans with them, because guess what? They are short-sighted. They are not supporting you. You need someone that is supporting you, saying, rah, rah, rah. You rally with you, like you can do it. Those are the only friends that I have around me. Those are the only friends that I have around me. And I'm very careful with who I share my information with, because I don't want them to systematically knock me down. Because if someone thinks negative things, you're receiving that as well. We spoke last week about, are you receiving telepathy? Are you engaging with telepathy and don't realize it? Maybe you're walking around with a smile on your face because someone's sending you positive thoughts. Maybe you're coming into a space with someone and right away you're receiving information. You're already engaging with telepathy. You don't want those naysayers to be sending you negative thoughts. Let them go on their own way. And you can't sabotage yourself either. That's not cool. Don't be critical. You can accomplish so much more than you realize. So much more. So let's raise our vibration to a higher consciousness. And how are we going to do that? We're going to have a higher capacity for attracting when you engage with your truest self, which means if you have a goal, if you have something that you want to do, you're going to have to raise your positivity, your vibration, your confidence to reach that. And that's how you're going to raise your vibration. You're going to jump timelines with me. You're going to be on the 5 dimension right now in this moment. It's all about how you're thinking. It's it. It's all about your thoughts, your beliefs. That's all it is. It's so simple. It's your heart and your belief system. That's all. It's not complicated. Having self-awareness of your thoughts and emotions. How do you do that? You start to have more gratitude. Start to pay attention. Don't be oblivious to what's going on. Look at it. Look about what you think. Take notice to what you're thinking about. Where do your thoughts go? That's why meditation is very helpful, because you're expanding your consciousness. Maybe we'll do like a little mini meditation tonight. Maybe that's a good idea. Generosity, love, breath work. This is how you're going to raise your vibration. Forgiveness, eating healthy foods. You know, I ate like half a bag of pita chips last night, and I don't know if that affected me. And you say, oh, that's healthy. What are pita chips made out of? What are those? There's grain. I don't know. That's why I can't eat any of those processed foods, because what is in them? You're going to eliminate toxins from your body. You're going to connect more with nature. You're going to drink water, spend time in sunlight, and you're going to exercise. Does that mean you have to go to the gym like I do and do 1,000 jumping jacks? No, you can take a long walk. Take a moment, get up off your tush and go outside instead of like sitting there, vegging out in front of the television for 24 hours. On the weekend, take a walk. You don't even need to go with anyone. Just put on a warm coat, dress warm, and go for a walk. Comfortable shoes. Just take a walk. And you'll breathe in the fresh air, and it will wake you up. Maybe it's going to activate you. Do it. Do it. So here's some signs that you have raised your vibration. Children and animals approach you more. There's a lot of synchronicities going on in your life, which means that there's validation. So what's a synchronicity? A synchronicity is when different courses of action or different situations cross over that have nothing to do with each other. And I've given the example. Synchronicity would be, here I am, and I say to myself, I'm making this up. This is a hypothetical. All right, I decided that I'm going to go and I'm going to learn all about ice skating. And I'm saying that, and I'm writing it down, and I'm making a commitment to that. I'm making a commitment. I'm having alignment, which is thoughts, words, and actions. So I'm writing it down. I'm looking at it. I'm reading about it. I look online, and I start to investigate it. And then I go down to the coffee shop, and there's a woman walking by with a man or woman, and they start talking about ice skating right in front of me. That would be synchronicity. That would be validation that I'm on the right path. You have the correct path for you. You have to find it, and it's effortless. It's effortless. And so we have to pay attention to a couple of things. What is your vibrational emotion? What are you sending out into the universe? When you go into a space, are you coming into the space and you're like, oh, everything's terrible? Are you like, angry? Or you're like, oh no, and you're in fear? One of these low vibrational emotions, that's what you're going to attract. Every person, place, or thing, every circumstance. You're not going to get these fabulous opportunities because you're coming from a place of low vibration. You want to go out into the world and have high vibration, which is love and joy. And you want to be positive, hopeful, and have affirmations, have mantras. I am strong, I am brave, I am courageous. Make up your own. That's what we're referring to. This is good. The color violet has the highest vibration and the shortest wavelength of visible light. Okay? So think the color violet. Imagine maybe violet light circling you. Maybe think of just imagine seeing violet light. So violet was going to be like a color of purple, right? So I would say this is the color violet right here. So visualize violet. Visualize violet. Oh, we're at the 1 hour mark already. I don't know how that happened. So that means that we have to get on to psychic phenomenon. Time's up. Here we are. Okay. If you've been activated, you have tingling, buzzing, electricity in your limbs. Maybe you have change of vision, light coming through your eyes when they're closed. You might see light coming through. Sounds really strange, but it happens. You might have those that communicate with you. Maybe it's extraterrestrials, maybe someone who's passed, and they try to get your attention when you close your eyes. Maybe you have digestive issues, stomach aches. You might have cranial pressure, headaches, memory. Now, does this last 24/7? No. These are temporary symptoms, but they are symptoms that you've been activated. Maybe you need more sleep or less sleep. You might wake up at the same time every single night and not know why. You might engage with issues that you wouldn't deal with, where they just come right in front of you and you have to deal with them. But you get through them really fast. It's called dark night of the soul. All right. So there's many more, but we are going to move on because we hit the 1 hour mark. And in fact, we're past that. So have you been participating in psychic phenomenon like I have? Yes, indeed, I have. We spoke about, and here's the little chart. You've probably seen me hold it up, but I am all about visual because I'm a visual person. Obviously, I'm also about hearing. I speak about clairaudience. So here are some of the clairsenses. So telepathy is mind reading, direct mental communication between two people. And we've spoken about that. Have you been engaging with telepathy? Last week, I shared with you the way to have telepathy, to send a message. And I asked you if you would, which is you imagine, I'm going to just quickly go through it because I don't want to spend too much time because we already did it. Basically, you choose someone that you would like to send a message to, and you imagine them right in front of you. And you do this with your eyes closed. Obviously, you're going to relax, just Focus on your breath as always, and you're going to imagine the person in front of you. And then you're going to imagine things like, how do they stand? How do they sit? What's the length of their hair? What do their features look like? Their facial features. What does it feel like when they're in front of you? This is how you start practicing telepathy. And when you do engage with this particular individual, this other being of light, what is their energy like? What do you receive? What does it feel like? Because you are really making a connection with them. And then you choose a word or an object that you're going to send to them. So you're going to be sending them a message. And that is how you send telepathy. And what is their expression going to be when they receive it? And that's how you practice telepathy. So that is a mind-to-mind reading. It's ascending. Clairvoyance, second sight they call it, right? Your mind's eye, your third eye, which is, they say it's the size of a quarter about, and it's between your two eyebrows. It's right here. It's your third eye. It's a perception of an event or an object not involved or known. In other words, no one's told you about it. You just know it. For example, yesterday I did receive some information. I heard words like I usually do, and I see images. I heard the word Argentina. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what that's all about, but I heard that. It came in. Someone said it to me. Maybe clairvoyance for you is going to be that you're going to receive some information about a person, place, or thing that no one told you about, but you receive it. Maybe you see a mental image. You hear something. Your intuition kicks in. We all have intuition, and it kicks in. It's whether or not we pay attention to it. It's whether or not we give it any energy. We could say, oh, that's so silly. Oh, that's ridiculous. If you do that, you're not going to receive anything. It's about confidence. It's about trust. It's about acceptance and believing you can do it. All right, cognition is perceiving of future events without existing knowledge. You will discover and know about something that's going to happen to you or someone else. Maybe you're standing next to someone and you receive information from them. Now, I've shared with you, I've received information standing to people. Maybe it's smell I receive. It's something that they don't like or something that they were doing that day. Maybe it's a food. Maybe it is a drink. Maybe it's their perfume. Have you ever been somewhere and you smell something and you're like looking around, where's it coming from? It's a memory. It's a memory that you're receiving. Or it's information from someone else that you've had contact with. Now there's what's called psychokinesis, which is your power has an effect to change external matter, which means that you can change things out in the physical reality. We're going to be able and capable of that in the future. Now, some of us are obviously not going to be able to do all these things, but I'm sure some of them. We have not been privy to this. We have not received this information. We have not been activated yet to do this. Can I lift myself up and levitate? No. Maybe one day? Yes. Right, Elsa? Elsa, you're going to levitate? Maybe we'll time travel. We'll move to another location without even getting out of where I am. Like I'll just blink and I'll be somewhere else. Or I will possess the capabilities and the extraordinary skill and power to be able to channel and move myself to another location. Colognes, perfumes make me gag when I catch a whiff of them these days. It smells like chemical warfare to me now. Oh, yeah. That's gross. Okay, so our intuition is an inner voice. I'm asking you and I'm hoping that you engage with your inner voice. And that's why we start by saying, tune into your heart. It begins there. Your heart has a lot to tell you. Your inner voice, you have an inner world going on. And we are cracking open that. I always say, what do I say in the beginning? I say, now I'm forgetting what I say. I crack open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. shift away darkness, guide you to your truest potential, and crack open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Because you have a beautiful glowing light in your heart. Except until now, unless you were really nurtured, this world that we've been living in doesn't really engage with our beautiful glowing light. It basically gets covered. So it gets covered. And how does it get covered? It gets covered from trauma. It gets covered from issues. It gets covered to protect ourselves. Because we're like, I have to protect myself. Like I said, if you have something that happens to you, or you're in a physical location and you're getting some energy and your head hurts, and I say, tell it to leave your head. Or if you're feeling some energy and vibrations from someone existing in the physical reality, and you're like, oh, I don't feel good. Put your arm over your heart. Protect your heart. The elbow will protect your heart. We might not remember to do that. We might not spin light around yourself. White light, violet light, like I say, violet light is the highest vibrational, highest frequency is violet light, which is like this color, interestingly enough, isn't it? All right, so let's move on to, oh, I dropped my sage. That's okay. All right, so let's do some psychic phenomenon. Let's start by letting out a breath. And I always say we're going to just release any tension. Now, anyone who's just joining us now, today we covered the dead end for banks, Spring Equinox 2023, the Trinity, and raising your vibration. And now we're getting on to psychic phenomenon. All right, so we're going to relax, aren't we? Let out a breath, and we're just going to relax our arms and legs. This is just a few minutes we do. This doesn't take a long time. Maybe we're going to move our head from side to side. Over the weekend, I did a group meditation, a guided meditation, and you spend a few moments just speaking about letting go of tension, because that's how you do a deeper meditation. However, we're not going to take that much time to do this. We're going to just imagine like all of the energies just dropping through your hands, out of your hands. And like I say, you're putting all of your weight in your bottom. If you're sitting or laying down, just drop all your weight. You don't want to have any tension, because the less tension you have, the more information you're going to receive through this exercise. Okay? And so we are relaxing. We're pushing away any doubt. We're not going to have any doubt. We can do this. We have confidence. We have belief in ourselves. And so we're like a rag doll, aren't we? Maybe you want to just tense up and let go, and tense up your feet, your hands, maybe your body, your torso, and then release. And let out a breath or a word. And then let's just remind ourselves to inhale and exhale. Because we don't want to hold our breath. If we hold our breath, we're not going to receive any information. We want to have just a natural flow of energy within our vessel, within our spirit, within our heart. And we're just relaxing. We're having stillness. And maybe you tune into your heart and you just check your heart. How am I feeling? Do I feel calm? Do I feel peaceful? Is there anything that's bothering me? Let it go. Let go of any thoughts before this moment. Push away anything that's bothering you. You don't need that. It's not important right now. Then we're dropping down, just dropping down all of our focus on our physical senses. We're not using our thoughts. It's only what we receive from our hearing, our third eye, our smell, our taste, our heart, our touch, and our knowing, our claircognizance. That's it. Our thoughts aren't of any importance. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. Your intuition relies solely on your senses. So it's more like your feelings and your emotions. How are you feeling? You are a human lie detector test. If someone comes up to you and they're lying, if you're tuned into your senses, right away you'll know. It's not going to be based on what it looks like because we can be tricked by the physical reality. We're going by how we feel. All right, so now I'd like you to tune into one of your clairsenses. You can choose your hearing, your clairvoyance. You have clairvoyance. You can master at least one of these senses. You have that ability. You do. Probably 3. You're tuning into your heart, your feeling, your touch, or your knowing. Maybe you're someone who knows. All right, and you can do sense of smell and taste, whatever you choose, whatever works for you. Now, I always have been choosing, because I used to only do clairvoyance and feeling, sustenance. But now I've really acquired an ability for my hearing. And so that's what I'm focused on. So I'm going to tune into my hearing. And I'm willing to accept and be open to anything else that comes through. I'm not blocking anything. I'm saying I'm open to it. And then I'm going to give you a suggestion. All right, so are you tuning in? You're tuning into one of your senses. And here's the suggestion. And you're going to just see what impressions you receive. The suggestion is that you're going to travel from this space that you're in right now, in this moment. And the suggestion is you're going to travel to another location. You're going to travel, and that's all you're saying to yourself is, my suggestion is I'm traveling from this physical location, this space, to another location. And that's it. What information do you receive? I'm going to be quiet, and we're going to all do it together. Okay, I don't know what you received. This was very odd. Oops, anyone else struggling with pictures? Okay, so I heard land ho, which means a boat, and I grew up on boats because my father was a sailor. And so I actually was landed on a boat. That's where I ended up. I was on a boat, and there was only one other person on the boat, and they were very confused when I landed on this boat. They looked around. They were very confused. They weren't angry. They weren't upset. They were just a little bit, they were very startled, actually. And then I heard the water, and it was not a huge boat. It was a sailboat. And that's where I ended up. When I did this little exercise, I ended up on someone's boat. And then I helped the person bring the boat onto shore. It was very strange. And so that, I don't know what happened to you. Anyone wants to share before we move on to the next exercise? Because we're going to do one more exercise. But you know what? Is this true? I'm basically sharing these concepts with you, these exercises to stretch you. Because all of this, I have a sailboat. Oh, you do? Cool. There's a sailboat. We're stretching our abilities. We're stretching our abilities. Okay, let's see. Speaking of stretching, let's close our eyes. We're already prepared. And let's imagine, okay, so you drop down because we're time's up. We drop down, and I'd like you to imagine, this is another way of stretching you. I'd like you to imagine stretching from here up, all the way up to the moon, all the way up, out past the clouds, as far as you can. So your part of you is here. The lower half of you is here in this space, whatever space you're in. And then I'd like you to close your eyes and imagine pulling your whole body like you're a rubber doll. And you're stretching all the way up to the moon, all the way up to the sun, because this is how you stretch your abilities. Because it's all about belief system and concept and energy. So you're stretching your energy all the way up to the moon. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm imagining at night I go outside because Elsa and I take a walk and I see the moon. So I'm imagining that I'm stretching up what it would be like to stretch all the way up to the moon. Because that's what we're doing. We're stretching our abilities. And that's my suggestion. You want to do this on your own time? What you do is you close your eyes. You can do this in seconds. It doesn't take minutes. It can be very helpful to you in the physical reality. You can drop down into your senses when no one's paying attention. So, have a very natural breathing. And if you want to receive information about someone, drop down into your senses. Ask yourself a question about someone. If you're suspect, it can be bad or good, you can receive information. Now, you might not receive the information in that moment, I've realized. You might receive it when you least expect it. Now, these exercises can have a lasting effect. You can begin to predict events. You can begin to be more open to other people's energies, other people's knowledge, information. And also, you might begin to have spirits contact you and speak to you. There's a lot of advantage to this. But if you sense that it's too much, you can move the dial. You can move the dial down. Like, I'm not interested in receiving that. So all the way up, 1 to 10, say, no, thank you. I didn't receive for years any information. I had spirits coming to me since 2016. I said, I don't want to be a medium. No, thank you. And I freaked out. And that might happen for you. All right, everyone. Well, it's been a joy, 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 day. So this is where we're going. Well, this is like someone's body here. I sense we're getting all of these frequencies coming through us. Also, I heard this. Oh, light on the horizon. I haven't said in a long time. Light on the horizon. A difficult situation will improve beyond your view. And it's good luck. Beyond your view. And what I've been hearing lately is, before I go, I want to just share this with you. Something about spiral. That's how the energy is going to flow, is in spiral. Like there's something about like a vortex or pathways activating. Good. Something about a spiral. That's what I was reading about on Twitter yesterday or today. I don't remember when it was. I think I had another one. Nope, that was it. All right, everyone. It was a beautiful evening. I'm sending you light and love. I'm spinning light, and you're in this. Hey, Bob Harding, you're here. I'll watch from the beginning. Okay, Bob, we spoke about dead end for banks, spring equinox 2023. The numerical symbolism of the number 2-3, the number 2-3, and the number 2. All right, I'm spinning light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish. Make a wish. What's the wish? Make a big wish. What's your wish going to be? All right, and I'm spinning it the other way, and you're in the center of it, and I'm really grateful that you're all here. I'll try to do maybe earlier in the day from now on. It seems like everybody can join us. All right, I'm spinning light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish. What's my wish? I'm making a wish. Let's see. My wish is, okay. All right, it's all for you. I'm sending you light and love, and you're a worthy being of light. You're a worthy being of love, and have that affirmation. As a child, I was great at blank and felt happy whenever I blank. Okay, I'll be back soon. See you guys. Bye.